This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings. Come on in. Welcome. My name is Janice Pons. I'm the host on our podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspective, Spiritual Truths. Listen, this year we've just been trying to gain a clearer understanding of our nation, dynamics, who, what, when, where, how, why, and we just come on here and talk about things. Thank you for your support, your love, and your prayers and your encouragement this year. I can't thank you enough. A lot has gone on in our nation this year, as you know. And we get on here and we talk about it. And it's been an absolute blessing. And I say thank you guys so much. I love America. You know that. Our flag behind us represents our nation. We've been praying for leadership in the White House, to pray for their leadership, their families, the cabinet of the president and their families. Listen, there's a lot that we need to keep in mind as we transition going into 2026, because there's a lot at stake, and we have leadership that's undermining us. Their gravy trains have been disrupted, and they don't like it. And we're at a crossroad. And it makes a lot of people anxious. And we just got to decide what we're going to do with it. And tonight we're going to examine that. That's a lot going into 2026. We've got an election coming up. It's America at the Crossroads. That's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about, from that clinical perspective, that anxiousness that a lot of people have. Some people have absolute, they have panic attacks, and a lot of the dynamics of what's going on in the nation has contributed to that. So we want people to be well. So we have images put before us of the future of the Democratic Party. And there are people in those images that they're saying, look, this is the future. And those people are Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett, and AOC. They're even talking about running two of them together on a ticket. Yeah, to be president. Which one would you choose? One was a candidate who talked about cleaning collard greens in the bathtub and changed the way she talked depending upon if she was talking to Black Americans or white Americans, and who placed ads in Black newspapers that I saw saying that Project 2025 is a threat to Black Americans. Basically, they ended up not giving a rip about we the people. Their focus was on illegal immigrants, not Americans. And we've proven that over and over again. Not my opinion, it's what actually went on. Her policies assured that the Obama, Biden, Harris cabal, we pay for the health care, food, housing, monthly money card, education of illegal immigrants. This was occurring while 78% of working Americans were living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet. Were our veterans getting that type of assistance? Were they? Kamala Harris actually showed disrespect to Black Americans. You know how? She changed the way she talked when she addressed Black Americans. Talking in demeaning rhythms, jive talking to Black folks. Does she talk like that to other people? Why did she do that? What did she do for we the people and the nation for the 4 years that she was vice president? And what was promoted? Guys, they're talking about her running again. We'll see. Her first campaign ad had her, this is what happened. She was surrounded by LGBTQ plus participants, ending with all of them saying, amen. She was for men being in showers with girls and women. This was going on in our military. The women were petrified as they had to deal with biological men standing there with their body parts and all fully exposed, and we were supposed to accept that. No one cared about the women. No one cared about, not them. Not, when I say no one, I mean of the Democratic Party, of what was being pushed on us politically. They didn't care how it affected the women and the girls. It was in the military under her administration, the Obama, Biden, Harris cabal, and Trump stopped it. Men playing in women's sports, Trump stopped it. Women were getting pulverized, losing. How could they compete? Listen, if people dealing transgendered people want to compete in sports, have your own league. Have at it. But women were losing all kind of competitions. And you know why? Competing with brutal strength was fine with her, and Trump stopped it. He stopped it. Did she have, we're talking about what we're in for. Did she have any campaign ads where she was surrounded by families? Did she have any campaign ads where she was surrounded by veterans? She left billions of dollars of our military equipment, the Obama, Biden, Harris cabal left our military equipment in the hands of terrorists in Afghanistan. And they showed it off in a parade in August of 2024. Paraded our equipment right in front of the whole world. Let that marinate for 5 seconds. Under the Obama, Biden, Harris cabal, that administration, they were promoting the dismembering, burning, and liquefying of our tiny citizens. They even had a mobile abortion clinic truck at the DNC convention. And is God supposed to smile on that? Under her administration, she was going around to HBCUs encouraging young black women to dismember, burn, and liquefy their offspring. That was her agenda. China and Russia didn't respect us at all as a nation under the Obama, Biden, Harris cabal. China was flying bombers off of our west coast, while Russia had a warship with hypersonic missiles on it floating past Florida. You don't see that with Trump in there now. When President Trump finally got in there, we didn't see that going on. This woman is an empty suit. She's an empty pantsuit. And if you think she's going to execute anything that will promote this nation, you are sorely deceived. Obama, he wasn't promoting things that promoted this nation. Biden certainly wasn't promoting things that promoted this nation. None of them. AOC, Jasmine Crockett. How are they promoting the nation? I just see a bunch of riff-raff, ghetto talk, threats. Now, why am I talking about Kamala? Because they're talking about her running again. And we need to know the dynamics that are going to unfold in 2026, and it will be on steroids after that because it'll take us right into 2028. She was enthralled with Agenda 2030 while black folk were running around here being deceived about Project 2025 that Trump had nothing to do with. He was trying to keep us safe. I personally heard him say that he didn't have anything to do with it. Obama put us under Agenda 2030 in 2015, which would have put us under the total control of the United Nations. That's the agenda they didn't want us to know about. All the mess and the state of affairs over The last 17 years is a part of the setup of Agenda 2030. That's what Trump came in and stopped. So while this woman was running around the country talking about collard greens being clean in a bathtub like it's a badge of honor, I encourage you all to wake up and spread the truth from the mountaintop. Engage people with policies. Talk about what's going on. Talk about facts and get out of emotionality. I was in a black church last year. It was deep. Everyone was given a black newspaper that had the Obamas on the front page and an explanation about Project 2025. After, during the sermon, discussion about what was said at the DNC was talked about. It was an intense encounter that day. Among other things, Project 2025 was described as being infused with Christian nationalism to have scripture-based law in every aspect of our lives and governance. That's how it was described as it relates to race, gender, or reproductive rights. The newspaper had an ad from the Harris campaign at that time that stated that Trump's Project 2025 is a threat to Black Americans. What was really a threat to Black Americans as the truth came out regarding the government shutdown? He fought for it, for the government to be open. They were fighting for, they didn't care that people didn't eat. They didn't care that the nation's airline industry was not safe. They didn't care. They led, under their agenda, there were 1,000 white people who had been educated and trained to be air traffic controllers overnight under Pete Buttigieg, who was the Secretary of Transportation. They were taken out of the hiring pool, guys. Why? Because they were white. That just tripped me out when I learned about that. And all kind of things were going on in the airports. Guys, we will be inundated again with the Obamas who have worn us out for 17 years. Just wait, 2026, leading up to this election, you're going to hear from them and hear from them and hear from them. And you're going to hear lies on the news. You're going to hear the manipulation, the control, the deception, the gaslighting. We will hear it. I know that many are in total darkness that the agenda of Agenda 2030, and it is an agenda for 2030, but it's called Agenda 2030, is for the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America to be under the total control of the United Nations. President Trump cut us off from all that stuff and them being in control of us. We would lose our sovereignty as a nation. This is one of the major things that President Trump has fought hard against. This is a huge part of why he's been under such a relentless attack. He shut down their money laundering schemes, their fronts. He shut them down. 83% was shut down. Contracts totally canceled. So this is what the Trump administration focused on starting this year. We're looking back in retrospect. This is what he started off as we wrap up 2025. These were his promises. Listen to them. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. 3 straight months, 0 people coming across the border from Mexico. Why? He had the president of Mexico handling things on that side of the border. You think that affected anything? I love this stuff. So was the border sealed? Yes. Did he stop the people from being paroled out of prison in Haiti and Cuba and Venezuela and Nicaragua? Yes. What was his other goal? Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history? Yes. Now, Obama has the greatest numbers. So people belly aching about President Trump, but Obama had a different thrust, but I believe President Trump is going to surpass him Obama was very selective about much that he did. It had an agenda. What was President Trump's third promise? To end inflation and to make America affordable again. It's a process that's unfolding, but guys, people are getting good jobs, good paying jobs. Here in Oklahoma, people starting off at $80,000 a year at that aluminum plant that will be the biggest one in the history of the nation. Yeah, $80,000. That's not a bad salary to start off with. Not having a college degree. And people that have college degrees, can you imagine them even making much more? Making America the dominant energy producer in the world. By far, we are rolling in that. What was another promise? Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. He's got all these people coming in here, setting up companies, billions and trillions of dollars being invested. They don't outsource. If you outsource, you get tariffs. You get tariffs. You do it in here, do business in here, you get all kind of tax breaks. And you build companies and people have good jobs. Large tax breaks for workers. That was one of his promises. And no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. We're grateful. What was another promise? Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. What was another promise? Prevent World War III. This man has been involved in 8 peace treaties. 8, really 9, because the Abraham Accords. But this year, I believe it's all of them, the rest of them, the 8, happened this year that were connected to wars. Yes, that's amazing stuff. I don't know anybody who's ever done that. So he's trying to prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a giant Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. And I believe we'll get it. That's what he wants. Major security there. What else was a goal and a promise that he had for this year? End the weaponization of government against American people. Enough said. Enough said. He definitely did that. Stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. Check. Rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them clean, safe, and beautiful again. Check. Strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. Check. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. We're going to have, his goal is for us to have so much money coming in here that what he wants to do is get rid of income tax. We'll see. Whoa. Can you imagine? And that's happened before where we didn't have income tax. We'll see. He wants so much money coming in that he wants us to keep our hard-working money. Imagine that. And see, our taxpayer dollars was going towards these NGOs and these USAID money laundering fronts that were set up overseas that were paying for transition surgery for people. Guys, I don't want my money paying for that, but that's what was going on. And paying for public school education where our children were being accosted the way they were. Their poor little minds were seeing those images that were all about all things sexual and the acts that they were being taught. Lord have mercy. I wonder why our standardized test scores were decreasing over the years. What else did he do? What else have we accomplished this year? Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. That's what he wanted. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly and burdensome regulations. Check. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content. Push pushing that on our children. He stands up for our children, and I do too. Keep men out of women's sports. Check. Deport pro-Hamas radicals. I love Palestinian people, but we want people doing things the right way. And make our college campuses safe and patriotic again, not agendas of other countries coming here perpetrating these things upon us. In terms of radicalization, we respect cultures. I have people that I love who are other cultures. They are of other cultures, but we don't want any radicalization going on here. No. And neither does President Trump and his cabinet. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter ID, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. We got a ways to go on some of that. They don't want our elections going in that path. There are those that don't. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. Guys, we've had so many successes, but they don't want to talk about it on the mainstream media. I will talk about it on my podcast. Did we accomplish any of this year? Where would Kamala, AOC, or Jasmine Crockett take us as a nation? Guys, we would falter and we would implode. They would take us on a whole different flow. As Americans, which of these platforms will sustain our nation? Which will protect us from all enemies, both foreign and domestic? Which platform will protect our children in schools? What platform allows men to go in showers with women in the military, boys in showers with girls in school? What's important to set healthy boundaries in our schools and public settings? All these dynamics have the potential to evoke anxiety. What can we do when we get overtaken with anxiety? There are a lot of people who've experienced anxiety as a result of what was perpetrated upon our country. What would happen if we learned to instantly calm our anxiety? Just our clinical perspective, just thinking out loud here. If people are dealing with anxiety, it can be difficult to keep their minds at ease. Add on the global pandemic, COVID-19. People were afraid. I almost died in 2021. I am a walking miracle. My PCP was in tears saying that I was slated to die. And I thank God that he healed me. In 3 days, I walked out of that hospital. You can't tell me that God is not real, that Jesus is not real, that Jesus is not my healer. He is who I called on to heal me. Every lobe in my lungs was filled with fluid, and I walked out of that place healed and whole. Yes, I was anxious. I was concerned. My son was concerned. When he closed that door to that ambulance, when they came and took me away, I looked at him and I said, I will be back. And in 3 days, I was back. But according to the biometrics and my lungs being full of fluid, I was supposed to die. To God be the glory, I'm still here. Thank God he healed me. He is the God who heals me. He healed me. Look, all of this stuff, these dynamics that were going on and all these dynamics in the country, and 2026 is going to be put on steroids in specific kinds of ways. You may feel even more helpless and on edge at times. Whether you've been diagnosed with anxiety disorder, or you just deeply worried about a particular situation, it can be challenging to find a way to calm down and not be anxious. When your mind's racing with stressors and fears, it helps to take deep breaths. You're getting extra oxygen to your brain. If it can help a woman who's in labor, might it help us if we're anxious? And repeating a mantra according to mental health experts, they say that this is helpful. I have a particular mantra. If I get anxiety, I can feel it coming on. I know how it feels, but I don't get anxious too much anymore. I take deep breaths and I just say, Father, I just take in your peace. I thank you that you've given me a peace that passes all understanding. And I let anxiety go. I cast all my cares upon you, for you care for me. That's my mantra. And another mantra I say that helps me when I'm I say, no. You have no control over me, anxiety and fear. Now unto him who's able to do exceeding abundantly above and beyond all I could ask or think, according to the power that works in me. And God, right now, I'm just going to cooperate with your power. I thank you for your peace that passes all understanding. And I receive it right now. I thank you that I'm relaxed. I thank you, and I'll rotate my shoulders. And then I put the pressure point right here on my temple. And it's guys, right here in the palm of my hand. It's actually called the Palace of Anxiety. Ask massage therapists about that. Massaging that. I've worked with people that were having full-blown panic attacks. Full-blown. Just get to walking them through that deep breathing and massaging the palm of their hands. They back totally out. Yeah. Breathing. Getting the mantra. Getting that palm of your hand. Old people, when you see them, they just wringing their hands. It's the body's natural way of getting rid of anxiety, handling and getting rid of anxiety and stress. To stop anxious thoughts and feel more in control. There are phrases that you can do. There are things you can say. I gave you my example. Nike says, just do it. You got to do something. It's observable. It's measurable. Getting past anxiety and starting to calm that anxiety by being proactive, it can be powerful. Even if it doesn't have the perfect outcome, at least you're moving away from the anxiety of trying to figure out your next step. There's no wrong decision as long as you do something to move out of that state that you're in, like the deep breathing, the massaging your hands, talking to somebody, getting up and going walking. I've been with people that were like, I'm going to go get relapse, and I'm getting ready to go get messed up. They use another word, up. Yeah. And I said, okay, well, wait a minute. This is when I was in charge of a substance abuse treatment program. I said, wait a minute. Okay. Well, you know what? You grown. You can leave if you want to. But you know how I look at addiction. It's a matter of life and death. So I'm just wondering if you're going to choose life or death. But before you leave, I'd like for you to go take a brisk walk for 15 minutes and then come back to my office and check in with me. They look at me. Why? I said, because I asked you to, and I want you to just do it. And then I want you to think that whole relapse out. Think it all the way out. Honey, they come back in 15, 20 minutes, shaking their head, say, Miss Janice, I feel like a different person. And I thought the whole relapse out. Some of those people are still clean and sober today. That God had me doing things like that when I started that 30-day program where 87% of the people were clean and sober and gainfully employed 6 months later. To God be the glory. Anxiety, people, a lot of times they relapse because they're anxious. Stop trying to find the perfect solution. What would happen if we just did that? Nothing's perfect. And just what would happen if we just took movement forward? Even if it's an imperfect step forward, but we're moving forward, giving ourselves a reality check, reminding ourselves that although anxiety is unpleasant, we're in no physical danger. We can be overwhelmed, but we're not in physical danger when our emotions actually can be taken over. We are not being harmed. When anxiety could be trying to take over, we feel what we feel is uncomfortable, but we're not in any physical danger. What I found is that in a moment of anxiety, especially with panic disorders, people feel like they're not going to survive it. But it's not true. It's not fun, but it's not dangerous. There are things that people can say and do that can help anxiety in a tremendously. What about gratitude? What would happen as we close this year out if we would just had gratitude? Taking a moment to appreciate our good health, our family, our stable jobs, our pursuit of a job. Our brain, it can't experience stress and gratitude at the same time, guys. So it's an effective way to change our mindset. It just changes it. Focusing on gratitude, transforming our relationships away from stress. When you feel stress or brain fog, if you can shift to a place of expressing gratitude for something in life, it immediately starts to shift in a more restorative state. Our minds do. That's just how it works. It just does, guys. It really does. Getting grounded that when we're feeling overwhelmed by things that we can't control in the moment, like politics or global warming, calming anxiety, it just isn't always easy if that's what you're thinking about. Except that bad things can happen and you give yourself permission, just permission to say, you know what? I simply cannot control everything. I can't control it all. And it's just going, okay, that earthquake happened over there. I'm going to hit the delete button because I can't control it. It's a way of thinking. When you're feeling completely overwhelmed, I have felt overwhelmed. It does not grab me like it used to. I've learned to master it. Yeah. Reminding yourself, I had to learn to master this. To remind myself that anxiety is fleeting. It's actually reminding myself of that. It was a method for learning how to calm it. You know, wait a minute. Whoa. This is fleeting. This is not going to last forever. Greater are you, O Lord, who's in me than he that is in the world. I am more than a conqueror in Christ. I am the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. Father, I take in your peace. I thank you that you've given me a peace that passes all understanding. Saying that mantra, massaging the palm of my hand and deep breathing, baby, that stuff breaks off of you. When you're chronically stressed, it can feel like you just got to remind yourself that stressors are not permanent. Things are subject to change. What would happen if we gave ourselves a pep talk, referring to yourself in the second person like, Janice, come on, girl. You know you can do this. The greater one lives in you. Being around people that talk to you like that. Guys, listen, this stuff is powerful. Stress does not have to control us anymore. What about empowering ourselves with a reminder that our fears don't define us? Exploring who we really are, whose we are. Being around those that love us and support us, guys. I am very selective about who I expose myself to. I am not going to expose myself continually to people that evoke anxiety. I want to be around peaceful people that want solutions. What have we looked at tonight? America at the crossroads. We're at the crossroads. In 2026, we're going to put your seatbelt on and exploring how to handle anxiety. Guys, we were all over the place in so many ways in 2025, and we were sinking ship. The Democratic Party was thrusting things on us. Is the Republican Party perfect? Absolutely not. But there were things that the Democratic Party was doing that was from the pits of hell. It has always been a part of a thrust that they push on us. This is why a lot of people like President Trump, he doesn't play. He came in, hammer down. He don't play. He doesn't play. And some, he don't play. No, I love it. I love him, how he's been a leader. Listen, guys, keep coming back. I bless you as you go into a new year, as we go into a new year. 2025 has been amazing. I can't thank you enough for your support, your prayers, your love. I pray for you guys all the time, your grandchildren, your children, our posterity. America's a great place to be. This is our home. We're one nation under God, indivisible. The enemy has tried his best to divide us. But I say we're indivisible with liberty and justice for all. As we go from destruction to dignity, we're going to keep pursuing these pathways because I believe that the best is yet to come. God bless you guys. I'll see you next time. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
affirmation, dedication, information, revelation.